off just about. The orchid itself is pretty root bound. You got roots all over like crazy growing out the pot. So to repot it, first we're gonna get the orchid bark and we're gonna soak it in water about 20 minutes. We're also gonna soak the plant and its roots in water for about 20 minutes. So the bark, orchid bark, has been soaking for about 15-20 minutes. Give it a good 20 minutes, and the plant is thoroughly watered and soaked. So I've got to get the plant out of the pot, and I'm going to cut off any roots that don't look very healthy. So any big roots that are falling off. So we got to get it out of the pot. Sometimes you might have to cut them out of the pot. It's pretty root bound. Soak it a little longer, that makes it come free a little easier too. So have a sharp knife handy. You want to be kind of gentle with the roots. Oh dear. Looks like we're gonna have to use some scissors or a sharp knife. Try to preserve the roots as much as you can. Now, I'm gonna get a knife. I might have my cameraman cut this for me. If you get a few of the roots, that's okay, because it's not a bad idea to cut a few off anyways. Ooh. Fortunately, there's a little drainage spot here. Let me get in here and get some of that. Nice sharp knife. Poor little orchid. Still has the bottom stuck on it. There. So see, it's used up all that bark in there. It's kind of a mess, poor thing. So I'm going to pull off the old bark and stretch out these roots a little bit. Give it some room to grow. But see, the roots like this you'll cut off as well, because they are not gonna, they're pretty much dead. Any roots or leaves that don't look so good. It's better to keep the stalk, because it can bloom again on that stalk. This was kind of a funny one. It was dyed a blue, a bright blue color. Really a funny looking orchid. So I think if you put some food coloring in it, if you wanted to, some pretty strong food coloring for a few waterings once it starts to bloom again, then it just might turn blue again. Okay, so I've got this soaking as well. I'm gonna see how deep I should plant it, and that looks just about right actually. Looks pretty good. Just wanna stretch out these poor little roots a little more. They're nice, super healthy roots. This is gonna be happy to be in a new pot. And this is pretty moist and soaked, so I'll make a little plop in the middle. And get it just a little bit below the pot line so that you have enough room to water it. And then stuff it full of orchid bark. Get it all around there, nice and tight. A nice, fun, messy job. I've got a little sitting water in the bottom. I'm going to drain that out when I'm done. I just wanted to give it a little extra soak. I didn't soak it quite as long as I should have probably. About 20 minutes is definitely good. Let the bark absorb as much water as it will. And just kind of push it down in the sides. You don't want to leave any air pockets. These clear pots are pretty nice for an orchid because they grow moss in them, which if you like moss, it's nice. especially living somewhere where it's awfully dry, to have a little bit of green moss growing in your pot is real pretty. You also can see the roots of the plant growing through and check their health, and it's kind of a nice fun thing. But you can use any pot, just make sure it's big enough for the orchid's roots to stretch out. And it's better, orchids don't really need drainage. I water my orchids about every 10 days, give them a good drenching, let them soak in the water for, again, about 10 or 20 minutes. And then drain it all out, every bit of it out. So, you tuck it all in, all around the roots really well. And if there are any dead branches like these up on top, I'm just gonna give those a quick clip. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the stock. So that is how you pot an orchid. It's a good idea to use a little bit of orchid fertilizer when you water them as well.